We're here to announce that Sword of the Stars 2 is in production and will be published by Paradox. They have been the home of Sword of the Stars 1 and its all its expansions, and they will continue to be a home of Sword of the Stars 2 and the expansions that will follow for that game. Production is set to conclude in 2011, so there's not a lot of materials for us to look at. It's not gameplay at the moment. It's designed to be played multiplayer as well as single player. The original Sword of the Stars is now about 3 years long in the tooth. Its last expansion was a ship pack, which came out under Paradox. Argos Navy Yard, which added a few ships, a few dozen ships, a few new weapon systems, and basically was a complementary entry point to a lot of people into the franchise. The most important thing to point out about Sword of the Stars 2 is that while it's a sequel, it's not going to be the standard 4X sequel, which basically takes you through the same game with better graphics, a few new gameplay features, but still has you researching much the same thing as you did in the first one. SOTS 2 will start, for those familiar with the franchise, in the cruiser fusion age, about a third of the way up the original tech tree. Players will assume the role of an empire that now has been in existence for 50 to 100 years. The standard start will be with multiple planets. Your point of view will not be the race alone on a single planet struggling and finding other peoples. You will know of the other empires. The subtitle of this game is Lords of Winter. Again, for those of you who followed the original SOTS, there has been traces in that game of a race that has interacted with some of the original races, known as the Sulka. They were the original enslavers of the Lear. They were creators of the Zool. They've been referred to by name. The Lear refused to talk about them. The Zool only referred to them as God. And they've left various wrecks and artifacts throughout the universe. In SOTS 2, they're back. A lot of this proposal artwork, just to give you an idea, again, the direction we're going in terms of 2D art and presentation. Character sketches going up a notch. Prototype ship designs. In terms of combat, we will be introducing a new level of ships called the Leviathan class, which will be 3 times larger than the Dreadnought. In reflection of this and a growing, more dangerous universe, the destroyer class is now dropping to a battle rider configuration. Destroyer-sized vessels are considered too small to go FTL and survive in full-on combat, so they will go into combat clamped onto other vessels. If you look at the original SOTS perhaps as the World War I era of battleship combat, SOTS 2 moves us to the carrier era of naval combat. At greater distances, star systems will now be complex environments, not a single planet. So there'll be multiple planets, asteroids, that sort of thing. Seeking out your enemy in real-time combat will be just as important as the actual fighting of him. An example of the Lear, moving up to the battle rider concept, clamping smaller ships onto a larger frame. The larger ship brings them into FTL combat. There's an example of the size scale of the new Leviathan class. The smallest ship there would be a cruiser. The next smallest would be a Dreadnought. Again, more battle rider concepts here. Idea, again, where the art direction is going with 2D portraits for the various races. SOTS 2 is an evolution. It will keep concepts that made the original SOTS groundbreaking when it came out. We'll retain the random tech trees, the modular ship construction, the unique drive systems for each race. All the original 6 races from SOTS will be in SOTS 2. Some will be undergone change, such as the Lear and the Zool. The Marigi will be putting together a confederation. The Hivers will be basically expanding out slowly as you would expect them to do. The Tarka will be expanding out as well, but encountering a few secrets from the early existence of their previous empire. Not seen yet. The Silver Empire of the Tarka will become more revealed in this game. SOTS 2 will also continue the tradition of SOTS, which is to have enough depth to it that people are interested in what's going on in the universe, as opposed to just shooting with the ships and mixing and matching the races, that sort of thing. We've achieved the state of actually being one of the first 4Xs where people want to find out what happens next, right? So in that case, it's vaguely MMO in its existence, especially with the way Kerberos supports it with added content for free every once in a while, adding new ships, new missions, that sort of thing. Slots 2, again, will retain turn-based strategic movement with real-time combat. Real-time combat, again, will stay in full 3D, but will retain 2D movement commands. You can look forward to an extra layer of maneuver commands so that players will be able to choose more exotic things to do, like dive under enemy ships, climb over them, stay at which angle, that sort of thing. The ships themselves will be more durable and not complex is not quite the right word, but substantial is a better word. They'll be damaged in subtler ways, so that you can expect a dreadnought to hang into a fight quite a bit longer, but then to see various chunks of it come flying off and its behavior to degrade over the course of that. What we're really trying to do is maintain the core cohesiveness, the simple to pick up, very hard to master aspects of it, the toolbox approach to combat that rewards the player for his own tactics and his own thought. And again, it'll be up to the player to come up with his own ways to win.